woman's hell at being blackmailed by stranger into performing sex acts on him while blindfolded for 7 years before discovering it was her father. A woman has recalled her horrific ordeal at being repeatedly sexually assaulted in a blackmail ploy for 7 years, before discovering her abuser was her own father. David Masterson, 56, from Dublin, Ireland, was jailed for 17 years for a campaign of sexual abuse towards his daughter Charlene, now 32, which began when she was 18 and continued until she was 25. Speaking to the Indo Daily podcast, Charlene, who bravely waived her right to anonymity, revealed her father started abusing her in 2007 after making up a bizarre blackmail plot which forced her into performing sex acts while blindfolded and with music playing in her ears. It all began when the then teenager received an anonymous text message which claimed to have incriminating information about her that would be leaked if she did not perform the acts. It later transpired the text had been sent by David. Her father would pretend to let a person into their home, while Charlene was blindfolded and had music in her ears. Pretending he was a different person each time, David would then force her to give him oral sex and, in turn, sexually assault her. Speaking about how the campaign of abuse began, she explained, "I randomly got messages from a number. I didn't know the number, and it read, 'I know what you did, and anyone that knows me knows I hate being in trouble.' So I immediately panicked." Charlene explained that, although she hadn't done anything to be exposed for, she still tried to fix things, and replied to the person at the other end of the phone, not realizing it was her own father. When Charlene replied, the blackmailer threatened to have her father fired from his job at an airline at Dublin airport unless she met his demands. The messages began demanding that she do sexual things with men while threatening to send information to her father's work if she didn't. When she told her father about what was happening, he told her that she would have to do these things because his job was at risk. She said, "The one person you go to for help is your dad." And I did. And his response was, "You're going to have to." It wasn't the reaction I was expecting. The person texting Charlene never actually explained what she had supposedly done. But she said she was quite naive at the time and panicked. She said, "It was him. So he knew I didn't do anything. I don't even know how he concocted this whole thing. He knew exactly what I had done, which was nothing. It was arranged that her father would let a person into their home, and she would do whatever this person wanted while wearing a blindfold and earphones, playing music. She was then sexually assaulted." She said, "I remember it vividly, sitting there in whatever he had demanded I wear that night, and he would be looking out the window going, 'Oh, he is coming across the field. He is meant to be a stranger. So how would my father know what he looks like?' And then he pretended to be downstairs, and then pretending to walk the person out of the house. He would say, 'Oh, we drove him up to the mountains, and he won't come back again,' like he was trying to play the hero and the protector. After the stranger had left, he would be the doting father again. These incidents continued to occur before escalating to her having to engage sexually with two men while blindfolded, she said. I had mentally checked out. It did start to get more physical 5 years in, because I started to stand up to him and started to object more to it. He obviously didn't like that. So the coercive control got much worse towards the end. Charlene finally discovered her father's role in the abuse when she attempted to assist her grandmother install a program on her laptop and found a DVD with a recording of 2 of the abuse incidents. She said, "I didn't watch past the first 10 seconds. When he came home, I was still getting messages from the stranger, and I replied, 'I know you are my dad.' Her father screamed and asked how she could think it was him. But she never received any more blackmail text messages after that." Charlene said that's when the abuse turned into open abuse in the home, where he would physically grope and rape her. After Charlene started withdrawing, her trainee social worker friend asked if her father was abusing her, and she replied that he wasn't. But months later, she was able to open up to the friend. In 2014, Charlene's friends went to her mother and explained the abuse she had endured for years. As soon as her mother heard what had been happening, she told the father to get out, and he has had no contact with his wife and daughter since. David was jailed for 17 years for sexually abusing Charlene over a 7-year period after first blackmailing her. The Central Criminal Court heard that David went on to defile 3 girls, having sexual encounters with 2 teenage girls, and entering into a sexual relationship with a 3rd, who lived with him for a period of time. Charlene said she hopes her experience helps one person to speak out, and for them to know that there are resources and help out there, and not to stay silent, she said. "I feel it's an important story, and I know by waiving anonymity, I could help even just one person to speak out." Charlene said her father didn't show any remorse in court, she said. It was something the judge called out on his day of sentencing. The judge questioned no remorse, and his barrister said there is a full admission, and the judge added, "I'm not questioning the admission, but can I confirm that there is no remorse?" And the barrister said no. It was gut-wrenching. You'd think that he will be a little bit sorry. I am never going to get an apology. No remorse. But he has to live with that. David accepted there were other men involved, but only told the Gardaí one of their names and claimed it was the only name he knew. Charlene praised the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre for their support during the court case and afterwards. She said she once dreamed of being married and having children by the time she was 30, but she doesn't feel like that will ever happen for her now.